Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover the hidden stories behind corporate filings. Today, grab your popcorn because we're diving into something that smells like a big old stock sale. So, what exactly is going on with Hyperion DeFi Incorporated? Well, it looks like they've just made a deal to potentially sell a whole lot of their stock, and we're here to break down what that means for you and me. This is a current report filed when something significant happens with the company. And for Hyperion DeFi Incorporated, the big news is this sales agreement. Essentially, they're telling the world they've entered into a material definitive agreement. Think of it as a handshake deal to do something important. And in this case, it is all about selling shares. This is Hyperion DeFi Incorporated, a company that looks to be powering up for a significant fundraising effort. They are registered on the Nasdaq Capital Market under the ticker symbol HYPD. This is their main stock that people can buy and sell. Alright, let's get straight to the heart of it. On the 14th of November 2025, Hyperion DeFi Incorporated, which we'll just call the company from here on out, signed a sales agreement. Now, this isn't a done deal for every share, but it is like opening the door to potentially sell a lot of their stock. This agreement lets the company, whenever they feel like it, sell shares of their common stock. They've hired a couple of folks, Cantor Fitzgerald and Company and Chardon Capital Markets LLC, to act as their sales agents. These are the pros who will help them find buyers for these shares. Now, this isn't a free-for-all. They've already filed a registration statement, which is like getting permission from the government to sell these shares. It allows them to keep this offering open for a while, sort of like putting stock on a shelf to be sold when the time is right. And here is the kicker, the really big number. They can sell up to a whopping $500 million worth of their stock. That is a massive amount of money they're looking to raise. Of course, the sales agents don't work for free. The company will pay them a commission. In this case, it is 4.0% of whatever they sell. So if they sell all $500 million, that is a cool $20 million for the sales agents. It is important to note that the company is not forced to sell any shares at all. This agreement gives them the option, but not the obligation. They can decide to sell some, all, or none of it, depending on market conditions and their own strategic need. This whole stock selling party will end either when they've sold all the shares they plan to, or if they decide to end the agreement for any reason. Like any big deal, especially involving stocks, there are a lot of legal protections and promises being made. The agreement includes standard clauses for things like indemnification, which means if something goes wrong legally related to selling these shares, there are agreements in place to handle that. This is just a summary, of course. The full detailed sales agreement is available as an exhibit to their larger registration filing. Think of it as the fine print you definitely want to read if you were involved in selling or buying a significant amount of stock. Now, in the section for exhibits, we see a few important documents mentioned. There is an opinion of counsel. This is usually a legal opinion from lawyers saying they've reviewed things, and everything seems to be in order from a legal standpoint for this stock offering. And here it is, the sales agreement itself. It is incorporated by reference, meaning it is a key part of this filing. The little hash symbol means some parts of it are considered private or confidential, which is pretty standard for these types of deals. They're not showing us every single detail, just the material parts. And finally, the signatures. This shows who is officially signing off on this report for Hyperion DeFi Incorporated. The report is dated the 17th of November, 2025. This implies that the actual signing and filing happened a few days after the agreement was made on the 14th of November. The person signing is Hyam-Soo Jung, who is identified as the Interim Chief Executive Officer. This highlights that the CEO is personally backing this filing and the agreement. Looking at this filing, what is the big picture? Hyperion DeFi Incorporated is positioning itself to raise a substantial amount of capital through an AT, the market offering. This means they're not selling a fixed number of shares at a fixed price, but rather selling shares on the open market over time at prevailing prices. This is a common strategy for companies looking to raise funds flexibly. It can be a sign of confidence in their future prospects, as they believe the market will support the sale of their stock. However, it also means increased supply of their shares, which could potentially dilute the value of existing shares if not managed carefully. The company isn't obligated to sell, so they'll likely do so when they believe market conditions are favorable and when they have a clear use for the funds raised, perhaps for expansion, research and development, or to strengthen their balance sheet. The significant amount of capital they can potentially raise suggests they have ambitious plans, but the success of this strategy will depend heavily on market demand and the company's ability to execute its business plan effectively. We need to keep an eye on how they deploy this capital and what their future financial reports show regarding its impact. Alright, That is our breakdown of Hyperion DeFi Incorporated's latest filing. What is your take on this potential stock sale and what it signals for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.